So just a little bit of poking fun over here in light of the fact that Cenk wants to come out here and parade himself as the only true authentic leftist. Meanwhile, just like a week ago, coming out in full force endorsing former Republican, lifelong Republican Rick Caruso, billionaire Rick Caruso, in the Los Angeles mayoral race. So he tweets out, Matt Gaetz talking to me, Anna, and Nina Turner on election night ought to be interesting. And then Ron Platcone, as we mentioned before, comes in with that banger of a tweet. Guess with Nina there, you need to find someone to your right, and that can't be easy these days, which I thought was hilarious. And also just like, okay, fair enough. Like, why are you having this guy on randomly after all you've done is pearl clutch and fucking finger wag about anybody that has a, friendly relationship with a conservative, right? It wasn't framed as like a debate, right? Maybe it will be. I imagine it'll turn into a debate. If it doesn't, that would be shocking to me. But just a good bit of humor from Ron Placone. Did you have a reaction to that, Gavin?
Yeah, so a couple things to break down here. As you said, TYT basically making this announcement that Matt Gaetz will be joining their live midterms coverage panel, which is interesting for a couple of reasons. I don't care about the fact that they're having Matt Gaetz on. I don't really think that's terribly offensive because we haven't seen it yet. I don't know what the context of this is going to be. But I will say that if they really do just have him on to kind of be like, oh, hey, Matt, what's up? What's your opinion? That will be weird given some of the commentary they've given in the past about other people doing similar things. Now, if this does, just turn into a debate and they're, trying to destroy his ideas or whatever, then that's cool. That'll be interesting and definitely more entertaining. But it's not really framed that way. It's not really framed that way. It's just like Matt Gaetz will join Cenk, Anna, and Nina Turner during our midterm election live coverage. Again, without much explanation as to why. Like, again, it would make sense if they were saying like Matt Gaetz is coming on to debate. Recently, Dennis Prager came on TYT to debate. I thought that was pretty interesting. We covered it here, but it's not being framed that way. It's just like Matt Gaetz is going to be all part of the TYT panel. Like, what the fuck? Okay, I guess. Anyway, yeah, banger tweet from Ron responding, guess with Nina there, you needed to find someone to your right, and that can't be easy these days, which is funny. And also it raises a point that I wanted to mention, which is that I do feel kind of bad for Nina Turner because basically like as soon as she joined TYT, they went full like tough on crime, Fox News framing on the issue of crime, endorsing Rick Caruso, now having Matt Gaetz on. She must be like, what the fuck is going on here? This is not what I signed up for. But either way, definitely interesting news.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I saw that tweet last night, was like, LOL, you get him, Ron, who's a friend of the show, obviously. I didn't think too much about it until I'm sitting at Blip Coffee. Shout out to Blip. It's where Gavin and I go every morning for coffee. And I'm scrolling Twitter. And just like by an accident of fate, like right after this tweet gets thrown up and responded to by Anna Kasparian, if we scroll down one more, we'll get to hear from her. But just by happenstance, I am sitting at the coffee shop at, like 9:56 a.m., and I see this tweet come up and I'm like, oh no, Anna's going after my man Ron. So she says, hey Ron. Oh, I can't now. I couldn't a second ago. Hey Ron, aren't there any right-wing militia groups you and Jimmy should be pleasuring right now? Real rich of you all rich of you of all people to go around accusing others of being right-wing. Send Tulsi my regards. Now this tweet is just patently false for a bunch of reasons. Like she's pretending that Ron is in any way still associated and employed by Jimmy Dore, something that is not true. Also, Ron actively supported Bernie Sanders. I think he also liked Tulsi, but Ron was never a guy out here that was bashing Bernie Sanders during his run, from what I could remember of any of his commentary. And if you're going to try and come after the guy for ever having previously worked with Jimmy Dore, hello, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. There are clips that I could find of you in the past, with Jimmy Dore, happy-go-lucky. So I just thought that was a little bit, it ruffled my feathers a little bit because I was like, hey, I like Ron. Ron is like the nicest guy ever. Rarely do I tweet. Whenever you see a banger from the Vanguard account, like 99% of the time it's from Gavin. But today I threw my hat into the mix and got us in trouble again. Whenever I tweet, I just get us in fucking trouble on the Vanguard here. So went ahead and responded to Anna Kasparian. If we can. Oh, okay. Gavin has to look it up because she blocked us here. I can just read it from my own Twitter really quickly. It said, blah, 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 blah. Karen Kasparian's massive coat because her boss endorsed a Republican and she liked it. And here is the end Yeah. So she says Karen Kasparian's massive coat because her boss endorsed a Republican and she liked it, yada, yada, yada. She tries to go in for the slam dunk. The Vanguard successfully does a ratio. Odd pickup from Jimmy Dore, who retweeted this tweet and gave us a little bit of a boost across the finish line. I won't deny it. I was like, that was a real game recognized game moment. Jimmy apparently had to make up for it and talk some shit on us later on in the day when he went on the Moscow couch or whatever the fuck it's called, the couch potatoes. I can never remember. But anyway, I just thought this was hilarious because Gavin, if you throw up the screen from our Vanguard account, we can see that instead of engaging in a rigorous debate with us, Anna Kasparian, who picked her own fight, just said, you know what, fuck you, you're blocked, which I was happy about because I was like, ha, you saw my tweet, you fucking NIMBY Karen. So hilarious. And then she went on today to publish this like redonkulous ass fucking essay that we'll get into, news piece. Just all around L's from the Young Turks network. I mean, this is just an implosion of the highest order. And yeah, you mentioned something important that Nina Turner got there like right as the cookie was about to crumble, man. Like, oh gosh, what a horribly embarrassing time, to work there.
Yeah, so embarrassing, so embarrassing. I do feel a little bit bad for Nina Turner joining right as the ship begins to sink. Pretty funny. And yeah, totally agree, Christina. Thank you so much for the $4.99 first super chat of the live stream, Christina. Thank you so much. TYT takes any opportunity to mention Jimmy. Ron is the chillest dude on the planet. WTF, Anna. Yeah, let's throw this thread back on the screen real quick in case anyone who's just tuning in didn't see it. Because yeah, I really did think that Anna's response to Ron was a little bit out of pocket. Let me see here. Yeah. Hey, Ron, aren't there any right-wing militia groups you and Jimmy should be pleasuring right now? Real rich of you guys to be going around accusing others of being right-wing. Yeah. Are you not aware of the fact that Ron Placone has not been associated with Jimmy Dore since he blatantly pivoted into right-wing talking points and pandering to the right wing? Like, Ron actually took a principled stance, and I know they're still friends and all that stuff, and Ron doesn't like to embroil himself in drama and talk shit, and that's all fine. But yeah, I mean, he clearly left the Jimmy Dore show around the time it started to kind of descend into the right-wing talking point sphere. He's not associated with Jimmy Dore anymore. Definitely not Jimmy Dore's bullshit pandering to the right wing. And if Jimmy Dore had just responded to Anna, then maybe I wouldn't care at all. I'd say hell yeah, and I'd maybe give that tweet a like or something. But as it is, this is totally uncalled for and inaccurate as to the position of Ron Placone, who is extremely chill, and who's actually in no way supporting right wingers, at least not in the way that Anna Kasparian is suggesting here at all. He's not the one out here fucking, endorsing Rick Caruso, who's a billionaire pro-police, lifelong Republican that the Young Turks have seemingly found themselves in alignment with. Of course, Jane came out there and said he was going to vote for Caruso the other day. Compare that to Ron Placone's tweet over here from the other day about his plans for Election Day. He says, I'm going to begrudgingly vote for Karen Bass, who will likely be a lousy mayor, but nowhere near as dangerous as Rick Caruso. So yeah, I don't know how Anna could come out here and say that he's, he needs to go pleasure right-wing militias when, if anything, he's just kind of taking the normie dim approach of voting for the lesser of two evils.
Not only that, but every single time I have the pleasure of having Ron on our show, I realized that this is a dude that walks the walk, man. He went out and wrote an entire one-man show. You know how long it takes to write an entire show and then go out and perform it for people? And it was that Lucian the satirist guy, somebody from ancient history, right, that a lot of people aren't familiar with. He does all the research. Ron's a good researcher. He's a smart guy. I think he almost got a PhD or something. So, he goes out and then what does he do? He doesn't accept any money for his own personal gain. I think he took some tips there and then donated the money when it was over. I mean, this is a guy that's out here literally walking the walk. The only walk that Anna does is from the TYT studio to her fucking Porsche to her fucking, loft that I'm sure anytime that she has to smell or look at any garbage, she, rings the bell for more cops and, homeless bulldozers, homeless camps bulldoze. It's yeah.
Absolutely. And Ron follows up his tweet to Anna by saying, anyway, I have no desire to contribute more to the political themed gossip column that you call journalism, so I'll keep it on topic. Supporting and downplaying the danger of Rick Caruso, a predatory billionaire who covered up years of sexual assault at USC, is sick. Hope you see that. And she responds very substantively with, you guys literally just read tweets about terminally online leftists all day. LOL. Like, what kind of response is that? Literally, she has nothing. She has absolutely nothing. First of all, it's just this stupid joke and an inaccurate analysis of Ron's politics or his orientation within the progressive movement. Again, where he tries to explain how their position involving Rick Caruso is problematic and not at all left wing. And then she just responds with another stupid and dumb joke, an inaccurate joke, because Ron doesn't even like to get involved in the whole online political drama sphere. He never gets into the name calling and stuff. The only reason he's commenting on this is because he, like so many other people, are genuinely shocked by the far right wing turn that the Young Turks has recently taken, specifically on the issue of crime, which has led them to endorse and get behind this literal fascist, a billionaire pro-police, lifelong Republican. I didn't even know about the fact that he covered up years of sexual assault at USC. That's obviously disgusting. So that's another, piece of evidence to put on the pile, but just crazy. I can't believe Anna is conducting herself this way.
People in the comment section remind me about this. What was the name of the fucking coach at USC? I can't remember. There was a guy that did a lot of fucking molesting at USC that I cannot remember specifically, but yeah. I mean, that's the sick part of all fucking, things in America. It feels like every time you're like, oh, there was a fucker that was molesting people there, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, they covered it up for decades. For what reason? Like, the Larry Nassar shit and gymnastics. You had all kinds of crazy shit. It was just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Humanist Report coming back in here with another banger, though. He's a literal right-wing billionaire buying himself power. That's not change. It's peak status quo politics in history. His victory will be a huge loss for democracy. Exactly. It's hilarious because they're acting like this is unsubstantive. It's like, but really, it's exact same as Trump. He's like, I can't imagine any of people being duped into voting for Trump. How could you be so dumb? How could you be so foolish? It's like, Cenk, you are literally falling for the neoliberal Trump. Like, this guy is the Trump for NIMBYs like you, where it's just like, oh, he knows what to say. He puts a collar on and, he's not like blatantly racist. He just like says all the right dog whistles. That's how we got people like Kim Kardashian, who loves to pretend to, be like rah, rah, like prison reform. That's my pet issue. But, in reality, he said all the right things. And now they come out and they say, oh, we need to make Los Angeles safe again. Like, people like Sharon Osbourne talking about how they have to move back to England because Los Angeles isn't safe enough anymore. And like all this kind of shit.
As you mentioned earlier today, Zach, she did publish this op-ed in Newsweek. Let me pull it up. Again, I'm having to pull this all up on my alternate Twitter account. You can follow that. It's in my little name on the screen at Gavin CMB. Anyway, I'm having to look at these tweets from that account because Anna blocked us today on the Vanguard. So that's what's going on. Anyway, she put out this cringy piece of propaganda essentially from Newsweek on Newsweek. She literally wrote this article. It says, my fellow progressives, we need to stop gaslighting on crime. LOL. And then actually David Dole of the Rational National responded to this. David Dole also called out Cenk Uygur for endorsing Rick Caruso the other day. We also covered that, but now he's calling out Anna. He says, when I visit the U.S., crime is more on the mind, and that's largely because of easy access to guns and high poverty. It's important to acknowledge people's fear, but also tell them what Republicans want is exactly what led society into this position, instead of fucking supporting and voting for those Republicans as Cenk and Anna are planning on doing. And that's 100% true from David Dole, because it's the systemic issue in these countries. High poverty and easy access to guns. Until those things are solved, there's going to continue to be high crime. Like, that's just the inevitable. So until we begin to tackle the systemic issues which are causing the crime rates to go up, it's not going to go away. It's going to keep happening. And for Anna and Cenk's solution just to be to incarcerate our way out, or to, continue to add more and more cops, that's not going to help anything. That's just going to result in more poor people in prison. That's going to result in more slavery. Like that's not in any way a solution to the actual root cause. If anything, it's just like a Band-Aid so that NIMBY liberals like the Young Turks don't have to see the crime in front of their eyes.
Yeah, look, and if you come back down to her response here, she says easy access to guns is a problem. So you would agree that whatever gun laws we have in place is important, right? So why is the left constantly providing cover for DAs like George Gascon, who refuses to charge suspects in possession of illegal guns? Yeah, here's the problem, Anna. When it comes, do you know how like the way targeted gun enforcement works, right? Is like there it sucks having to unpack all these issues when you're talking about another leftist, because it should be like kind of at least somewhat understood if you're dealing with this from a good faith situation. But let's just unpack all the layers of this, right? Somebody who's not my grandfather, right? They might be in possession of some weapons that aren't necessarily registered or legal. I don't know. I'm not saying that anybody is or isn't, right? But I'm just saying somebody that's in rural Kansas, that's a bit of a firearm enthusiast. I would imagine, you might have a Luger, you might have like some weird shit that you're not allowed to have, right? And the cops can't do a goddamn thing to, you search your house. Like you're not going to get really in trouble for that. That's not who these gun laws are impacting. And in fact, our gun laws also don't impact the gun manufacturer because of all the states laws that make it easy for you to just drive one state over and get it. That's why people always point to Chicago. It's like they have such strict gun laws, and it's like, yeah, but you've never heard of the state of Indiana and how fucking quick and easy it is to get back and forth. Like obviously that doesn't solve the problem. So then who do the police start fucking hassling with? The people that actually need the guns to defend themselves, right? And like, the hot take, the police do not do a good job of keeping black men safe in this country. Straight up. When has the cop ever kept a fucking? They are only there to provide a danger to those people, right? To those men. Straight up. The cops, they are there to terrorize. They are never there to understand. They are there to fucking criminalize their existence, broken window police them, etc. Right? Well, guess what? In an environment where you're starved of resources and economic opportunity, there's a lot of hostility, right? And so Republicans and people who buy into this framework like Anna, poor people are just violent. Oh, crime rates are skyrocketing, yada, yada, yada. Let's throw them in jail. There's absolutely no concerted effort to understand why these things are happening. Like he talks about poverty and she immediately wants to start talking about let's just throw those poor people in jail. That's always her pivot. She has no other pivot besides put them in a fucking cement box and let them rot there, out of sight, out of mind. It's not a problem for me. The cops will keep Anna safe because she's a white woman that's affluent. She doesn't have to worry about her own personal protection like these people that she so desperately wants to criminalize. So until we address the root causes of all these things, it's going to spiral out of control. This is how we got the most incarcerated country in the entire fucking free world. Okay. Period ever, period. China, North Korea, not more prisoners than us. Okay. Even though China has infinitely more people, right? 5% of the world's population, 25% of its prisoners, and we use them all as goddamn slaves, okay? So that's important that you cannot separate that from this argument that Anna is making, right? And what's her solution? She's like, crime keeps going up. Why do you think crime keeps going up after COVID? Because the entire bottom fell out for everybody, okay? There was no emergency reserves. People were stealing baby formula, Anna. Do you not remember that? Because they couldn't stand the thought of watching their fucking children go hungry. This is the kind of turmoil that we've created in our streets, this kind of desperation. And that what they always do, we talk about it, how they set up a fucking straw man because it's easy to burn it down. The straw man is, oh, these people are lax on crime, we have to crank down on crime. No, these people are lax on crime, and they're also not doing anything to deal with the disparity in resources. You cannot have one without the other. And instead of wasting our fucking time simping for the cops, playing into the hands of every right-wing NIMBY jackass, like at the Young Turks, we should be talking about how every time we talk about defunding the police, we're talking about reinvesting that shit in the community before it starts. Even Republicans like Arnold Schwarzenegger would get on TV in California and say, I would much rather invest in boys after school programs and girls after school programs than I would rather invest in prisons, because 10 to 1, you get a better ROI, even as the bottom numbers and cents soulless fucking piece of shit. You can look at it and say at least tax dollars are being used better before somebody goes in the system than after they go into the system, right? So all of this stuff is completely absent from the commentary, but yet I see people like Ben Burgess, who, as a guy I have a decent amount of respect for, I like the guy a lot, we have good chats, out here pretending that Anna Kasparian's making a good point. Are you fucking out of your mind? Do you know what a good point is? A good point is, hey, if we take care of the people in this country, then we don't have to put them in steel fucking boxes. So pretending that every left winger like me or Gavin or Olayemi that goes out there and makes these cases is just ignoring the plight of fucking people who are most impacted by crime is such a damn lie. Omle made the magnificent point that the people who are most impacted by crime are those people that you are then turning around and making an example out of to fucking like fearmonger for them on their behalf. And they are the ones that are telling you, please to God, don't keep doing it like this, because it's only going to make the situation worse, right? It goes back to recidivism. I'm on a hill here, but you guys know what I'm saying.